Alien sighting in rural Texas, a terrifying encounter. It started with a single phone call to the sheriff's office. Just past midnight, a frantic voice trembling with fear. A farmer, deep in the Texas countryside, claimed he saw something impossible hovering over his fields. His breath hitched, his words tangled. It ain't no plane, it ain't no damn drone. It's just sitting there, watching. The dispatcher tried to calm him down, but then came a sudden gasp, the sound of something crashing to the ground, and the line went dead. A prank? Maybe. But then another call, and another. Reports flooded in from different parts of the county. Distant. Lights moving in impossible ways. Livestock vanishing without a trace. An eerie hum vibrating through the air like an unspoken warning. No one wanted to say the word, but it lingered in every hushed conversation. Alien. The next morning, authorities arrived at the farm, expecting nothing more than a hoax or a drunk man's paranoia. What they found was something else entirely. The field was scorched in perfect circular patterns. Trees stood frozen, their branches twisted unnaturally, as if a powerful force had surged through them. The farmer's truck was still running, headlights cutting through the thick mist, but the driver's seat was empty. No sign of him, just his hat, resting on the dirt like he'd been plucked straight from existence. The sheriff's men searched the area, but the deeper they went into the woods, the stranger things became. The air was heavy, charged with static. Radios crackled with bursts of static, their signals scrambled into something unintelligible. A deputy swore he heard whispering, low, rhythmic, pulsing. They turned back. No one spoke on the ride home. By nightfall, news crews had arrived, their cameras capturing the eerie glow still lingering over the property. Scientists dismissed it as atmospheric interference. Officials offered half-hearted explanations, weather balloons, military tests. But the locals knew better. Something was out there. Something that didn't belong. Then a video surfaced, a shaky, grainy recording from a hunter's trail camera. A figure, tall, elongated, moving with a fluid, unnatural grace, eyes too large, skin too pale. It blinked, not forward but sideways, as if adjusting to this world. The footage was quickly removed from social media, but not before copies spread. Like wildfire, more disappearances followed. The town's dogs stopped barking at night, as if too afraid to make a sound. Strange symbols appeared, etched into barns, scratched into the sides of cars. Some swore they could see shadows moving, at the edges of their vision, flickering in and out of existence like a bad signal. People whispered of men in black suits knocking on doors, warning them to forget what they saw. And then, silence. The lights vanished. The calls stopped. The town fell into an uneasy quiet, like the calm before a storm. But one thing was certain, nothing would ever be the same again, because once you've seen the impossible, you can't unsee it. And somewhere out there in the endless dark of space, something or someone knows they've been noticed, and they might be coming back. Days passed, then weeks, and the town tried to return to normal. The news crews left. The scientists packed up their equipment, taking their carefully rehearsed statements with them. The authorities stopped investigating, or at least they stopped talking about it. But the people, those who had seen the lights, who had heard the whispers in the trees, knew the truth. They could feel it in their bones, in the way the night air seemed heavier now, charged with something unseen. They could sense it in the unnatural stillness of the fields, in the way the wind no longer carried the familiar sounds of crickets and rustling leaves, but instead seemed to hum with a low, steady frequency just beyond the edge of hearing. Then, one evening, just past midnight, a woman named Claire Whitmore, who lived alone on the outskirts of town, placed a call to her sister in a panic. Her voice was hushed, breathless, as she whispered about something standing outside her house. "It's tall," she murmured, barely able to get the words out. "Too tall." It's just standing there at the tree line, watching. Her sister, thinking. It was an intruder, told her to call the sheriff, but Claire just kept whispering. "I can't move," she said. And then a sharp intake of breath. The sound of something scraping against the window, a deep, pulsing hum vibrating through the phone line. And then silence. By the time the authorities arrived, Claire was gone. The front door was wide open, swinging slightly in the breeze. Her living room light flickered, casting uneasy shadows across the walls. Her phone lay on the floor, the call still active, a faint crackling sound whispering through the speaker. Her car was in the driveway. Her keys were on the kitchen counter, but she was nowhere to be found. The only clue, if it could even be called that, was a series of elongated footprints leading from her porch to the tree line. Prints that started out deep in the dirt, as if something impossibly heavy had walked there, but gradually grew fainter until they simply disappeared. As if whatever had made them had lifted off the ground and vanished into thin air. The town was quiet after that. Too quiet. People no longer lingered on their porches at night. Curtains were drawn tight. The streets emptied as soon as the sun dipped below the horizon. The whispers grew louder, talk of more sightings, more strange symbols appearing overnight, more people hearing that unnatural hum in the dead of night, like something just beneath reality was pressing against the edges of their world. Some wanted to leave, to pack up and go somewhere, anywhere that didn't feel so watched. But deep down, they knew it wouldn't make a difference. Whatever had come to this town wasn't bound by roads or borders. It had chosen them, and it wasn't done yet. Then, one final incident. A local boy, barely 12, wandering too far into the fields one evening, chasing after a stray dog. He returned an hour later, pale, shaking, unable to speak. When his parents finally got him to mutter something, it was just one word: over and over, in a voice that didn't sound like his own. "They're coming." He wouldn't say anything else after that, just sat in his room, staring at the ceiling, his hands clenched into fists so tightly that his nails left deep, crescent-shaped marks in his palms. That night, his father swore he saw a figure standing at the edge of their property, unmoving, its large black eyes reflecting the moonlight. When he ran outside, gun in hand, it was gone. But the boy, upstairs in his room, whispered two final words before falling into an uneasy sleep. "Too late." And then just like that it was over. No more lights, no more hum, no more whispers in the dark. As if whatever had come here had taken what it wanted, or had simply lost interest. The town exhaled a collective breath, slowly, cautiously easing back into its routines. But something had changed. The nights felt different now, heavier, like a weight pressing down on the land. People spoke less, laughed less, doors were locked a little tighter, and those who had seen the impossible carried it with them, a quiet dread curling in their stomachs every time they looked up at the night sky and wondered if, somewhere out there, something was still watching, because deep down they knew the truth. It would be back. Months passed, and the town did what small towns do best. It pretended nothing had happened, pretended Claire Whitmore had simply run away, pretended the lights were just tricks of the atmosphere, that the boy had only been sleepwalking, that the whispers in the trees were just the wind playing games with their minds. But beneath the surface, the truth festered like an open wound. People still glanced over their shoulders when walking alone at night. They still hesitated before stepping outside after dark. And some, those who had felt it the most, never truly slept soundly again. Then came the stranger. No one knew his name, only that he arrived in an old, dust-covered sedan and paid in cash at the local motel. He wasn't a reporter. Those had long since left, tired of chasing a dead story. He wasn't military either, Those men never asked questions, just gave quiet warnings and left. No, this man was something else. He spoke to the locals, asked them what they had seen, what they had heard. He didn't laugh at their answers. He didn't try to explain them away. He just listened. And when they asked why he was so interested, he only offered a single response: because it's happening elsewhere too. He showed them newspaper clippings from towns far away, places just like theirs, small, quiet, forgotten by the rest of the world. Stories of missing people, strange lights, unnatural phenomena, the same eerie hum, the same symbols, the same feeling deep in the bones that something was watching. The pattern was unmistakable. The question wasn't why their town had been chosen. The question was, how many others had been too? And then the stranger left. No goodbye, no warning, just gone. The people who had spoken to him felt an unease settle in their chests, a terrible realization that maybe they had been part of something much larger than they had ever understood. Maybe this wasn't the end of it at all. Maybe it had only just begun. A week later, the boy, the one who had whispered their coming, vanished. No sign of struggle, no open doors, just gone, as if the night itself had swallowed him whole. His parents swore they had locked his bedroom door, that he had been asleep only hours before. But in the morning, his bed was empty, his window wide open, though the screen was still in place. And on the floor, written in dust with a fingertip, was a single word: listening. The town didn't pretend after that. They knew the truth now, even if no one dared to say it out loud. Whatever had come here had left something behind, something unfinished. Some believed it was watching from the shadows, waiting. Others thought it had never truly left at all. Then, late one night, the hum returned. Faint at first, barely noticeable, but by the time the clock struck midnight, it was deafening. Car alarms blared, dogs howled, the wind howled through the trees like something alive, something angry. And for the first time, the entire town heard it. The whisper, layered beneath, the hum, not a voice but a feeling, something slipping into their minds like water through cracks in stone. Not words, not exactly, but a message. We are here. The lights flashed again, brighter this time, not just in the fields, but in the sky, high above, like a doorway had been opened, and then, in the blink of an eye, darkness, silence. Not just the absence of sound, but something deeper, something absolute. Every single light in town went out, every car engine stalled, every phone died. For a full minute, the town stood frozen in the dark, blind, breathless, and then, just as suddenly, everything returned to normal. The lights flickered back on. The hum vanished. The wind settled. But in the quiet that followed, an understanding settled over the town like a shadow. This wasn't the end. This was only a warning, because now they knew. They were never alone, and neither are you. If this story sent a shiver down your spine, if you found yourself glancing at your window or listening just a little closer to the silence around you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us bring you more mysteries, more stories, more truths that the world doesn't want you to know. Comment below. Have you ever seen something you couldn't explain? Have you ever felt like you were being watched? Share this with someone who needs to hear it, because knowledge is power, and the more people who know, the harder it will be for them to keep hiding the truth. And if you think this was the scariest story we've told, go back and watch our previous videos. You might just realize this isn't the first time it's happened, and it won't be the last.